spent a long time running. I never knew then what I know now. That the fruits, they always come in, but you can't go around just knocking them down. It takes a long time to show in. We plant the seeds then and we look at them now. But the roots are always growing, no matter if I'm there or never around.
Whoever interacted with me regarding that event, I experienced that they are quite passionate in their work, they are quite dedicated in their work. You can feel that they are trying to make this planet more livable and lovable.
GAP is not an organization. GAP is a movement. It is a movement where each one of us who deeply believe in equality, in liberty and justice come together to say what can we do together? How can we learn? How can we collaborate? And what action can we take together? And that, as more and more people start off, as Gandhiji began his Dandi March, and more people started joining the journey.
Gandhiji was really very, very right when he observed that our planet has enough for everybody's need, but not for everybody's greed. So today, as we gather here to rededicate ourselves, to eradicate poverty, we need to be motivated by the thought that the further effect of our effort will impact not only the lives of the poor and the dispossessed, but it will also work to bring lasting peace on earth.
It takes a long time to show in. We plant the seeds then and we look at them now. But the roots are always growing, no matter if I'm there or never around.
And the first question is, what do you most deeply care about? And what is the change that you wish to bring about in the world?
As a young person, I deeply care about the fact that every person, every living being, human, animal, bird, living, must live to its full potential and add to the planet, add to the community. I have always asked this question, so what is that poverty? And as a woman, I would like to ask that question, that are we ready to see poverty for what it really is, not really an economic means or lack of thereof, but also the lack of dignity. And to me, I care deeply for individuals' dignity, and restoring that to me means eradicating poverty.
Thank you. Thank you. I'm observing it, but Ravi, may I ask you?
Many years ago, I met a man who I see as a mentor, and he said, listen, all you have to do is change yourself and operate closer to your potential. And if you can do that, the world around you will change. And he used a beautiful metaphor of a light bulb. He says, today you're glowing at 10 watts. If you can glow at 100 watts, the darkness will recede. If you can glow at 1,000 watts, it's going to recede further.
So the industry we chose was the automotive industry, and the leveraging which we did there was that we leveraged the abilities in their disabilities. When you look at them, they seem as if they are disabled because maybe they don't have hands, they don't have legs, they can't speak, but every one of them is a human being like you and me. Every one of them has a spirit inside, and every one of them has an ability inside.
That the fruits, they always come in, but you can't go around just knocking them down. It takes a long time to show in. We plant the seeds then and we look at them now. But the roots are always growing.
I think what drew me to GAP was that selfishness, first of all. I mean, I had just left my corporate job and I said, okay, trying to kind of put some good use to my time. That's how I kind of connected with GAP in 2017. And I've been kind of having wonderful journeys, and purely because I think the people that I work with the change makers. I draw so much of inspiration from them. At 19,
It's like you're sitting next to the past, trying to unfold it, waiting for the fruits to fall down toward you. Let it go, and now you're flowing, feeling quite gorgeous. So you take steps away instead of.
So when I met the first time at the Gap office, that they were like about 20 people and sharing their stories, and it was so amazing that I came back thinking that this was the place where I must grow.
Maturity of any person who is standing and they want to see a change. It's not the situation or the kind of a incident should not change your mind to make it big. So even that opportunity I had with the Gap, so I always call Gap is my family.
If you seek visibility, I think actually that's not necessarily a positive thing. Having said that, if you do need support of other people, and you don't need to see glory in your communication, but you need visibility for the right people to be able to come forward and help you. That's where tools like Facebook, I mean, suddenly that's leveled the game. It's a game changer. Our life is the message. We have to be that change. That brings a visibility on its own.
What I would really sort of implore everybody to really think about is when you are wanting to think about your messaging, to think about your audience, to think about the right people that you need to reach out to, and how you can also make that impact with more video, perhaps less text, but really, again, humanizing that story as well.
He shared later on with us that you see one thing which struck me was when I was moving from one slum to another, one community to another, and I was asking the people कि यहाँ पे कोई प्रथम की बालवाड़ी चलती है क्या? People will say नहीं, हमें नहीं पता. And then we will land up in some balwadi, and he could see hundreds of such balwadis across that without Pratham's name coming for once. So he said the outreach and the ownership that was there in the community, this is something that we would be interested in, and this is what we would want to support.
Effectively, we all are change makers, but they have held the baton to lead the front. I'm Rohit. I work with Facebook. I lead the social good programs and crisis response programs as well. I support child rights. I work on crisis response. So despite working for our organization, I am leading something which would make meaningful changes to society.
And I'm a co-founder of an organization called MASH Project Foundation. We work with young people, young change makers who are committed and passionate about bringing change in different communities, and partner with organizations like Facebook, like Gap. As change makers, how can we leverage this algorithm to reach to our audience? So for example, this picture shows a mother with her child. So people tend to find that to be a lot more engaging than just a woman standing with a child from afar off, right? So there's a strong emotional content. So with your causes, how can you build that emotional connect with your audience? That will make a huge difference to how your content is performing.
Because if you don't believe in your story, nobody else will. Confidence is the foundation for effective storytelling. It is what fuels your stories, right? If you are completely passionate about the change that you are bringing about, then it's definitely a story worth telling, isn't it? The one thing that we believe in as communicators is that we cannot have more than a single message in any communication that you form. People are not interested in the process. People are interested only in the outcome.
Own it, meaning you just surrender, don't control it. Not interested in the clay pots and mold it. Or sitting next to the path trying to unfold it, or waiting for the fruits to fall down toward you. Let it go and now you're flowing.
So as you know, we work in the field of livelihoods. So it basically means our target audience is school dropout children in slums, in cities and villages. You have this person who goes around the village in the night, dead of the night, and says, "Jaagte raho." Right? We pay this person as little as 50 rupees a month, and he only says, "जागते रहो, युवा परिवर्तन का आजीविका मेला कल गांव के मंदिर में दोपहर को 4 बजे, ज्यादा जानकारी के लिए जरूर आए." And in the village mandir, or the village masjid, or the village hut, 50.
What I seek, therefore, in the corporate leaders today is a leader like Gandhi. Is somebody who can dream and then enroll me into that dream. And I see this fellowship as a way of creating more such leaders for the future.
175 years ago, Jamshedji Tata clearly articulated that a corporate is a part of a community. And whatever we do has to serve the interests of the community and all the stakeholders. And only then we'll be deemed successful. So in those days, a corporation was seen very much as a community-owned, driven, a purposeful organization that benefits the community. Somewhere in the last 100 years, we seem to have lost that thought, and there has been a separation of the corporation of the community. And unfortunately, the only small 2% bridge we have is of the CSR. My dream is that our young friend out there, our youngest change maker who's there, when he becomes a CEO, he doesn't see the distinction between a corporation and a community. I think that's the purpose that we want to work towards.
I wanted to join this wonderful force, this movement, and what motivates really me is that when I think back that it was Gandhiji, a single person, who succeeded in shifting the mindset and aligning so many Indians, irrespective of the social strata they came for one particular aim.
क्या चेंज या बदलाव लाना चाहते हो आप ये बापूजी को लिखिए और ये पोस्ट हम यहाँ से करेंगे 2 हफ्ते में आपके पास पहुँचेगा और आपको याद दिलाएगा कि आपने क्या प्लेज किया था बापूजी के साथ
I spent a long time running. I never knew then what I know now. That the fruits they all.
Fundamentally, we live in a resource-strapped world. We don't have resources. We don't have money. We don't have people. And we want to go and make the world a better place. Yeah?
No matter if I'm there or never around.
Whatever grows will grow, whatever dies will die, whatever works will work, whatever flies will fly, whatever fails will
There's this beautiful quote by a man named Nelson Henderson. He says, "The true meaning of life is to plant trees under whose shade you do not expect to sit." And I think in a lot of the spiritual teachings around the world, the religious teachings, there's some power in this idea of offering without expecting something in return. It's been a long time running, never knew then what I know now, that the fruits they always come in, but you can't go around just knocking them down. It takes a long time to show it, put the seeds then, we look at them now, but the roots are always growing, no matter if I'm here or never